Yes. Now that was a bulb-on moment, and I would say that self-respect is non-negotiable. And there was a line that sagely said that can be kind and firm at the same time. I believe that is something that needs to be learned. So let me ask you something. If a friend constantly cancels plans with you, will you keep making time for them? Or if a colleague took credit for your work repeatedly, would you still keep collaborating? Or if someone spoke to you disrespectfully in public, would you smile and let it slide? I'm sure most of you would say no. You would set boundaries, you would walk away, you would demand better. But now, let me ask you this. How many times this week did you cancel on yourself? Skip the workout you promised yourself, ignore your own needs to please someone else, or stay silent when you deserve to speak, or accept treatment you would never accept for someone you love. So we are experts at respecting others, but we are amateurs at respecting ourselves. And today we are going to change that. Today we are talking about something that will transform every relationship, every decision, every moment of your life. Yes, making self respect a non negotiable. So let me introduce you to a few people you might recognize. Priya, she's 28, working in marketing, brilliant at her job. But when a boss calls at 11 p.m. with urgent work that could easily wait till morning, she responds immediately. When a family expects her to handle all festival preparations while working full time, she does it without complaint. When friends make plans and cancel last minute, she says, "Oh, no problem," even though she rearranged her entire day. And she's exhausted, resentful, and can't understand why people keep taking advantage of her. Let me tell you another example. Sunita, she's 45, married 20 years. Her husband still criticizes her cooking, her parenting, her appearance, and not alone in front of guests. She smiles and serves more chai. Her children are disrespectful, ignore her boundaries, demand everything, and appreciate nothing. She tells herself, that's what good mothers do, sacrifice. And she doesn't see that sacrifice without self respect isn't love, it's self abandonment. So, what do both have in common? They made everyone else's comfort a priority and their own dignity negotiable. And let me tell you a brutal truth. You teach others how to treat you by what you allow. So, now before we go further, let's be clear about what self respect is not. It's not arrogance. It's not being difficult. It's not selfishness. It's not about thinking you're better than others. Self respect means not settling for less than your worth. It means knowing your value and refusing to accept anything that dishonors it. It is the quiet, unwavering knowledge that you deserve to be treated well by others, yes, but most importantly, by your own self. So, self respect is saying no without guilt, walking away from what diminishes you, or speaking up when something doesn't sit right. So, it's not loud, it's not aggressive, it's just firm, clear, consistent. So, when you raise your standards, the world adjusts to meet them. Of course, not always immediately, not always comfortably, but eventually, yes. So, if self respect is so important, why do we constantly compromise it? So, let me share a few reasons. Fear of conflict. You would rather swallow our discomfort than risk an awkward conversation. Priya doesn't tell her boss about boundaries because she's afraid he'll think she's not dedicated. But here's the thing, her constant availability doesn't make him respect her more, it makes him respect her less. People don't value what costs them nothing. Then fear of abandonment. If you allow your friends to disrespect you because you're terrified or you're being alone, let me tell you something. Better to be alone than in a company that requires you to shrink. Yes. Real friends don't demand your dignity as the price of admission. Then cultural conditioning. We were talking about Sunita. The good woman sacrifices everything. That speaking up is selfish. That is thought process. That boundaries are Western nonsense. But here's what nobody told her. You cannot pour from an empty cup. You cannot give respect to others if you don't keep any for yourself. So we have been taught that self-respect is negotiable, that sometimes you have to compromise it for love, for peace, for the greater good. And that's a lie. It's costing you your life. So let me tell you, when self-respect isn't a non-negotiable, you become exhausted, not just tired, but soul tired. Because constantly betraying yourself, taking more energy than any job, any relationship, any responsibility, you become resentful. You smile on the outside while screaming on the inside. You give and give and give. And then you are angry when people take. But they are only taking what you're offering. You lose yourself somewhere between saying yes when you meant no and laughing when you wanted to cry. The real you disappears. You become a collection of everyone else's expectations. And worst of all, people don't even respect the sacrifice. They take you for granted. They just expect more. That boss Priya worked late for every night. He didn't promote her. He promoted someone with better boundaries who went home at 6 p.m. That family Sunita served endlessly. They don't cherish her more. They just assume that's a job. Low standards don't buy you love. They buy you exploitation. So now let's talk about the most misunderstood word in the self-respect vocabulary. Boundaries. Yes, boundaries protect your peace and energy. They're not walls. They're not punishments. They're not about shutting people out. They're about showing people how to love you well. A boundary is simply saying, I don't work after 7 p.m. except for genuine emergencies. Or I don't tolerate being spoken to disrespectfully, even in anger. Or I won't lend money I can't afford to lose. So, see, not one of those is aggressive. They're just clear. And yes, people will push back, especially those ones who benefited from your lack of boundaries. So your boss might say, I thought you were committed. Your family might say, you've changed or you've become selfish. Your friends might say, you're being too sensitive. Let them say it because here's what they are really saying. I preferred you when you didn't respect yourself. It was more convenient for me, and those aren't your people then. And here's the thing about self respect, it's not a one time decision, it's a daily practice. Respect is not demanded, it's demonstrated daily. So it's demonstrated when you keep the workout appointment you made with yourself, or it's demonstrated when you speak in that meeting even though your voice is shaking, or it's demonstrated when you walk away from a friendship that requires to be less than you are. So every single choice is a vote for the relationship you have with yourself. And that relationship, it is the foundation of every other relationship in your life. You know, a teenager once asked me, how do I get people to respect me? And I said, stop waiting for the permission. Start respecting yourself so consistently that disrespect becomes impossible. So let me paint you a picture of what life looks like when you stop negotiating your dignity. You sleep better because you're not carrying resentment, replying conversations when you should have spoken up, or planning how to avoid conflict tomorrow. Your relationships improve. Of course, not all of them. Some will definitely end also. But the ones that remain, they'll be real, built on mutual respect, not your constant accommodation. You make better decisions because you're not choosing from fear of disappointing others. You attract different energy. People who respect themselves attract people who respect them. And it's magnetic. And most importantly, you finally meet yourself, the real you, not the people pleasing, constantly accommodating, over explaining version, the clear, boundaried, self honoring version. And there's a quote I love: respect yourself enough to walk away from anything that no longer serves you, grows you, or makes you happy. So let me say it again. Respect yourself enough to walk away from anything that no longer serves you, grows you, or makes you happy. Just keep reminding yourself this. Not just toxic relationships, not just abusive situations, but anything: jobs, friendships, habits, beliefs, patterns that diminishes you. So when you raise your standards, the world adjusts to meet them. So not everyone will like it. As I said, some will definitely walk away. Let them. Anyone who's offended by your self respect was benefiting from your lack of it. So you are here to honor the life you have been given. And that starts with honoring yourself. So here's what I want you to do this week: not think about, not consider, but actually do. List 3 ways you can show yourself more respect this week. Be specific. Let me say it again. List 3 ways you can show yourself more respect this week. Not vague wishes like be better to myself, but real, tangible actions. For example, say no to one request that doesn't align with your priorities, or prioritizing the health appointment you've been postponing for months, or keeping the promise you made to yourself about going to bed earlier. It can be anything. Unfollowing accounts that make you feel inadequate, or having that difficult conversation you have been avoiding. So write down 3. And here's the non negotiable part: commit to at least one today. Yes, not tomorrow, not when you feel ready, because we never feel ready. Yes, because self respect isn't built in grand gestures, it's built in small, consistent acts of self honoring. So every time you choose yourself, you're sending a message to yourself and to the world: I matter, my peace matters, and my dignity is non negotiable. And once you start living like that, everything changes. So stop negotiating, stop honoring. The life you deserve is waiting on the other side of that decision. So, with that thought, thank you. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. Thank you.